From a woman with 3 sugar daddies who refuses to admit she's a prostitute.
How many sugar daddies have you had?
I don't remember, but right now I have like 3.
Currently, you have 3 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How many?
Yeah.
You don't know how many total? Like at 10 plus, 20 plus, 30 plus?
Probably like 10 plus.
10 plus. Okay.
Yeah, it's not that much.
And so you have 3 currently. Do you hook up with any of them?
Yes.
To a single mom threatening Brian with a lawsuit over her own mistakes. Today's lineup has it all.
Well, I mean, you were also threatening me with filing a lawsuit.
It wasn't a threat. It was a court-mediated process that I have to take.
No, you said you would go file a class action lawsuit against me.
Because I have to.
And we can't forget the feminist Andrew shows up for being ungrateful to the men who do the toughest jobs.
All right, this is a man. Not a lot of women are willing to do this job. Not it doesn't appear particularly dangerous, but it's dirty and it's gross.
Did you ask women that if they were willing to or not?
Yeah. It's been available to them. Sanitation workers have been available
Hold
to them.
on. Can I ask you, are you scared of spiders?
Yes.
Are you scared of spiders? Be honest.
In today's video, watch how these entitled and downright delusional women get completely and utterly humiliated. Before we dive in, if you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button, and I challenge you to watch the entire video to see the impact modern-day feminism is having on today's society. So, let's get into it.
How many sugar daddies have you had?
I don't remember, but right now I have like 3.
I got you, homie.
Currently, you have 3 right now.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How many?
Yeah.
You don't know how many total? Like at 10 plus, 20 plus, 30 plus?
Probably like 10 plus.
10 plus. Okay.
Yeah, it's not that much.
And so you have 3 currently. Do you hook up with any of them?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All 3 of them?
Yes.
I'm just curious because I know
Excuse me?
sugar daddies are like stereotyped to be old. Are they all old?
I feel like I would be like putting them in like a specific profile. Like I don't know if they want to even.
Just like 50 or older. Like just yes or no. You don't have to specify their age.
I just don't want to get into like what they look like or anything like that because it's like discretion.
Is it like legalities? Like you sign a contract?
No.
So, okay,
Just
you've got the 3 sugar daddies. You're hooking up with all of them. How does it work? Do they give you an allowance?
Something like that.
So, like, do they also pay for your bills?
Something like that.
Well, can you be a bit more precise?
I don't really have a lot of bills, but I go shopping a lot.
Do they pay for your rent?
Nothing is like directly paid for, so it'd be like.
So they just give you money?
As a gift, yes.
As a gift, yeah. How much, I'm curious, so like the guy who's spending the most on you, how much does he send you per month?
That's personal, for sure.
Oh, give us the details. This is good content.
No, there's other stuff to talk
Okay,
about.
well then perhaps a different question. Out of all 3 of these sugar daddies, can you tell us the age of the oldest one? Roughly.
No.
Within the decade. 50s, 60s.
No.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
That would not be reveal. I mean, it wouldn't really be.
Yeah, that wouldn't
It
reveal
might.
anything.
How would it reveal?
Because then it's like if I'm with a certain age person
Okay,
out
fair
in
enough.
public, they're just going to
Is any of these people 20 plus years older than you?
I mean, sure, yeah.
Okay. So then,
Drop that.
I would not be mistaken in saying, and forgive me if this is incorrect or I'm characterizing this incorrectly, but you're a prostitute, is that correct?
No.
You're sleeping with 3 men simultaneously, many of them much older than you, for the purposes of them giving you money. Can you explain to me how that's not prostitution?
Damn. Can I explain to it?
Yeah, can you explain to me how that's not prostitution?
Because it's not like a for sure thing. Like, it's not the direct. If it's directly, I'm giving you
It's
this.
pretty direct. You're
for
sleeping
that.
with all these men. In exchange,
All
they're
of
giving you
these.
lots of money. I don't understand. Can you make the delineation? Can you draw me the delineation between a prostitute does this, which is she has sex with men for money. You do this, which is you're having sex with men for money. What's the delineation point?
I just don't think that like we have to label it as such.
Yeah, but why?
Why? Because it's not direct. It's not like, oh, I'm giving you this for this. That would be direct.
If any of these men stopped giving you this money, would you stop sleeping with them?
I'm into the provider type.
Yeah, but yeah, so then the answer is no?
I think if it was like, I don't think it would be no necessarily.
So if any of these men tomorrow stopped giving you any money at all and said, I'm not giving you any money anymore, but I would still like to continue sleeping with you, you would say yes?
It depends. It's something that we would have to have a conversation about for sure.
Okay, so you had the conversation. What would the conditionals be in which you would continue to sleep with them if they gave you no more money?
I feel like that's personal, but like, yeah, it's like a little too personal for me to share.
Can I ask a question?
But here's the thing. I think that you wouldn't, and that you're basically lying to me on purpose, because you know that the entailment of the answer, if you said, no, I would not continue to sleep with them if they stopped giving me money, is that you then know that you would be a prostitute. So I'm going to ask you to just be honest. Isn't it really true that if any of these men, any of them, stopped giving you any of these goods or money, that you would stop sleeping with them? Isn't that the case?
That's not the case, actually.
Okay. Let's say then, if any of them, is there at least some of them that if they stopped giving you money, you would stop sleeping with them? Is there at least one of them?
Damn. I feel like I'm put on the spot.
Is there at least one?
I think you just want me to admit to your definition.
No, I don't.
I
just want you to answer my question.
Your definition.
I just want you to answer my question. That's all I want.
I think like, I mean, I have love for all of them. So
yeah, I know, but can you repeat my question back real quick?
No, I can't actually.
Okay, so I'm going to ask. I'll ask it again. Is there at least one of them who, if they stopped giving you any of this money, that you would not continue to sleep with them? Just one.
It's not even just about the money, though. Their personality.
I know, but that's not my question. That's not my question. So I'm going to ask you the question again.
I understand your question.
I'm going to keep asking it until you answer it. I'm never going to let you evade it. I'm never going to let you sidestep it. I'm just going to keep asking it until you answer it. Is there at least one who, if they stopped giving you resources, you would stop sleeping with them? Is there one?
I love how you changed the question to resources. To be honest, I thought about cutting certain people off anyway, money or not. So it's a lot about personality.
You really actually just, again, did not actually answer the question. Can you please answer the question I asked you?
Probably.
Well, I don't know. It probably doesn't mean anything. Yes?
I did answer your question. It just
okay.
Wasn't a
then
yes
let me ask you. You know what? I'll even make this simpler. The sugar daddies you had previously, before this particular grouping of sugar daddies, is there at least one of them who, if they had stopped giving you resources or money, you would not have continued to sleep with?
Probably not. I don't know.
No.
Everything is situational, to be honest with me. I'm not trying to like be annoying or anything, I swear.
I mean, I just feel like this is clever sidestepping, because you don't want to admit what everybody in this room and everybody who's viewing and everybody on planet Earth knows, which is that at least some of these men, or one of them at least, if they stopped giving you lots and lots of money and resources, you would stop having sex with them. Is that the case, or is that not the case? Like, just directly. Is that not the case?
I feel like I'm really not trying to sidestep this. I'm just genuinely answering.
So is it or is it not the case?
I said probably not. It's probably not the case.
It's probably not the case. Okay.
But I do, like, regardless if there's money involved or not, I get, like, tired of people's personality. So it could, it's very situational.
Yeah, but I'm guessing you get far less tired of their personality if they're giving you lots of money, right?
That part.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'm just going to be completely honest with you. This sounds an awful lot to me like prostitution. In fact, I would consider it to almost be the dictionary definition of prostitution, which is a man gives you money, and in exchange for that, you have sex with him.
So then what would an escort be by your definition?
She would be if she was actually just escorting men to dinners and was not doing anything sexual with them, then I would say, I'm answering the question.
Sorry.
If I would say an escort, if they were actually just escorting men out like they're supposed to, because they're just escorts, they're just supposed to be arm candy, so that men who walk on a red carpet or something like this have something on their arm, I don't consider that to be prostitution. But if you mean escort in the term where they show up and then they go out and then they have sex with the guy, that's very clearly prostitution, yeah.
Yes, it doesn't necessarily have to lead to prostitution, like sex, you know what I mean? It doesn't have to lead to sex, and then by your definition, it's not prostitution. Because if we're feeling each other's vibe and we want to have sex, we're two consenting adults, then we're having sex.
Yeah, I agree that you could be two consenting adults who are just having sex. Where I disagree with is whether or not you would continue to have these relationships with these men who you claim are sugar daddies, quote unquote, meaning they give you lots of resources, and that you would continue to have sex with them absent those resources. That's what's in dispute here.
Yeah, I understand the dispute.
Yeah, that's what's in dispute. So you can, I suppose, say, no, really, Andrew, what it is I just like to really fuck all three of these guys, and I don't care about the resources because they're great. They're fantastic. They are the bestest of the bestest.
Boom, bam, bop, bada bop, boom, pow.
But I
They're
just
good people.
really don't think that that's the case, right?
They're good people. Part of what makes
I'm
them
not
good
saying
to
they're not
me
the
is
good
the
people.
provider type.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're not good people. I'm just saying that if suddenly they were good people who also didn't give you any resources anymore, that perhaps you would stop sleeping with these good people. That's all I'm saying.
That's like if I want to get serious, and then like if I want to like, because I'm dating 3 of them.
Do me a favor, please. Get out of here. Get out of here, man. Shit, I'm saying.
You know, like for me personally, dating is like you should have some sort of advantage in life. Like you don't want to be left with nothing. So if I want to get serious with someone, and like maybe it's one of these guys, if they stop wanting to pay me and it's like progresses to something else, then sure.
Okay, well then, last question on this and then Brian can move it on. If one of these guys did want you to get serious with them, exclusively just them, and said that they were no longer going to give you resources, though, if you got exclusive with them and you could not take resources from any other men but them, would you do that?
No.
Okay, you're a prostitute. Yep, that would be dictionary prostitution, right? That would.
Okay.
You had a question for her?
Well, I was just curious, is prostitution legal in California? Is that why you're not saying that you're... Okay.
Wait, oh, was that
That was the question, because maybe she doesn't want to admit that she's a prostitute because it's illegal.
Escorting is legal.
Do you live in California?
I live in LA, yes, but there's a difference between an escort who's choosing to sleep with someone who's providing for them, and there's a difference between just being paid outright.
Do you think
for sex specifically, yes or no? Like you don't have a choice. Like I mean, you have a choice, but they're like saying, "Oh, I'm not going to pay you unless you sleep with me." It's not that type of situation.
I mean, you can put a bow on it, but I mean, it's essentially prostitution. Like it's basically just cope. Like, oh, okay, I go out to dinner with the guy first, and then I can look at myself in a more favorable light because I did this token gesture of going to dinner with him before he paid me the money for what he actually really wanted, which was to have sex. It's just cope.
I don't know. I feel like I'm getting grilled for my answers.
I mean, well, a little bit, but I'm going to be fair back to you. The reason that I'm grilling you on this is because, to me, semantics, when you're talking, when you're having a discussion about a thing, I think are really important. I think it's important that we have semantic distinctions so we understand what we're talking about. So if you say, I'm not in this category, category A, in this case, category A is prostitution, I say, okay, I believe you, 100%, right? Yeah. But if you say, I'm not in category A, and everything you say fits with prostitution, then we're clearly talking about two different things, and that's bothersome, right? That now it's like, well, wait a second. It sounds like we are talking about the same thing. You're just calling it something different for some reason because you just don't want the label of prostitute put on your shoulders. That's where it's problematic. It's not even an attempt to be mean. It's just an attempt to clarify what we're actually talking about.
Well, I mean, we're speaking about right now, but in the past, like, I've had people pay me to hang out with them, and then it doesn't lead to sex. It's more of if I want to have sex with them.
Would you have had sex with them for the right price?
What the fuck? That's like, I don't know how to answer that. I'm sorry.
With yes or no?
Can you repeat the question?
Would you have had sex with them for the right price?
It's more about, like, how I feel with them, if I'm, like, comfortable.
Great.
Not about
you feel good about
the
them.
Right price.
You feel good about them, and they're going to give you $500,000. You see? With them?
What the fuck? I don't know about that one.
You don't know?
Stop the cap. You know about that one. You ain't been paid that much from anybody.
That's true.
Okay. Did you have some more, Andrew, or?
No, I think we can leave it there. Yeah. I'm just trying to get you to understand. Oftentimes people think that it's some type of meanness or something like this. When you're just trying to establish basic terms, but you can understand why when people do horrible things, or they have a perception that people will think that it's a horrible thing, that they're very, very evasive about calling the thing what it is. And so that's why I'm like, well, wait, can we at least pin down what the hell we're talking about? That's not an attempt to be mean. It's just an attempt to get clarity on what we're even talking about.
The thing is, like, culturally speaking, that's the way that they want to treat their women anyways. They want to spoil them. And I'm not dating seriously right now. That's why I have a roster. I call it sugar daddies because, yes, they're taking care of me. They're spoiling me. But if you want to label it as then...
The legendary Trash Panda donated $199.
Thank you, man.
Drinking game in Discord. The more you say, stop interrupting, etc. And the more Andrew mocks, the drunker we get. Also panel, specifically chair 1 goth Catholic. We need to see your feet.
Gross. What the fuck, dude? What kind of gross degenerate ass super chat was that?
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
Then there are the feminists who constantly claim that women are better than men and can do anything men can. But when it comes to taking on the dirtiest, toughest jobs, they suddenly go silent. This is a lot about why men often earn more, because we're willing to take on any kind of work, while many women prefer the comfort of being pampered in an office high-rise.
All right, this is a man. Not a lot of women are willing to do this job. It doesn't appear particularly dangerous, but it's dirty and it's gross.
Did you ask women that if they were willing to or not?
Yeah. It's been available to them. Sanitation workers have been available to them.
Can I ask you, are you scared of spiders?
Yes.
Are you scared of spiders? Be honest. Hold on.
Touch My Blade donated $200. I personally find it easier to learn language after I have shelter, food, water, security. Only mainly because without those things I'm not alive to learn language. That's just me though.
He's got money.
Scared of spiders?
Mosquitoes?
Scared of spiders?
Terrified of them.
Scared of spiders?
No.
No?
No.
No?
Yes. Yeah.
Yep.
No.
Okay.
Haven't I grabbed a spider?
Well, not scared of spiders.
Cockroaches.
Not scared of
spiders.
spiders.
Okay. What's the name?
Are you scared of spiders?
No.
Have any of you ever
Exactly.
I
asked?
just crush him with my hand.
Yeah, it's because you're men, right?
But have any of you ever lived with a man or been in a room with a man and there was a bug of some kind?
Yeah, and he ran away screaming, so I got it for him.
That's a
Okay, well, you date soy boy liberal cucks.
That's pretty funny.
I mean, it is what it is. But look, I've encountered my own anecdotal experience. I have spiders. I've had spiders in my rooms. Women are like, a spider.
Women you've been with.
But I'm not. I don't.
Say that about
You're with
everybody. I mean, I wouldn't do
submissive
that.
women that are willing to just do whatever you say.
Exactly.
What?
That's what
Well,
you
then why
expect.
would-
That's what
that's
you
what you just
expect
told
from
me,
women
but
to
about
be
men.
submissive to you.
You panicked when a
Wait,
guy
what?
had an unloaded rifle. Like, what are you talking about?
I mean, wouldn't you
Like,
if someone had a gun towards you? If you didn't know
an
that they were
unloaded
not?
rifle? That your boyfriend
moment
walked
that
around
you
with an
know it's
unloaded
loaded or
rifle?
not.
It's
Should we
No,
play
I
the
knew
other
it
one?
wasn't loaded.
Let's do
That's
the
what
other
I was
one
like,
really
what are
quick.
you doing?
Exactly.
All right. What about this? What about this? Okay. All right. Now this is more. This is really intense.
That is so sick.
This is.
He chose to do that. Ain't nobody told him
Like,
to get
no
that
one
job.
has to.
Well, someone
Here's the
has to
reality.
do it.
Yeah, somebody has to do it. Women ain't trying to do this shit.
I would do that shit.
You see the lights in here? You see the lights? You know when
would?
it's fucking freezing?
You would do that?
Some women would. But you know
Do y'all enjoy light? Do you like
What do
electricity?
you do? Like, what do you do right now?
You?
Me?
Yeah.
I just moved here, so I'm just in school.
Yes.
Yeah, but what have you done before as a
Like
job?
work?
Yeah.
I was a ride operator.
You were a what?
A ride operator?
What is that?
I operated rides at Six
Like a
Flags.
county.
At Six
Full
Flags?
throttle.
You mean you had the little switch panel and you pushed the button and it made the ride go?
Yeah.
You just want to make sure I got it. You would climb up there in the middle of a snowstorm, do that job?
I would. If
You
I was
would.
trained, yeah.
Anyways, all right.
I believe you.
I really forgot, so if you
What-
can
I
remind
was
me.
like,
then
do
we'll
you
talk
guys
about it.
the
enjoy?
spider thing.
I was like, do you guys enjoy electricity? And
Yeah,
you're like,
so-
do you?
Well, yeah, right.
the difference
I mean,
is-
can you survive off of it? You can't.
Yeah, but the difference is I acknowledge that if it wasn't for
can.
men who are in infrastructure jobs, we would not be enjoying the electricity which we have.
It's just electricity. Like, yeah, men do the job for it, but like
You-
at the end of the day,
Do you realize how
why are
important
you, like, praising
electricity is? Even if we didn't remove,
It's just electricity.
if a female wanted to do that,
hold on.
then she
Even if
can
we didn't
too.
get rid of like the sewage and the telecoms and the trucking and the transportation.
I've known girls are truckers
Hold on.
too.
Okay.
They
Even if we didn't
transport.
get rid of those other things, do you realize how pampered the lives we live are? If we singularly got rid of electricity, we would all be like collectively panicking and fucked. If it's in the winter, we're dead.
Yeah,
No,
I
not all of us.
100%
Not-
agree with you.
not
I
me,
never
I'm
said
good.
I
The
did
human
it,
race
but I
survived
just
and
asked
no
you,
electricity.
don't you need electricity
Like, that was
too?
the thing.
I
Yes,
That's all I
but I'm
asked you.
grateful for the men who provide it,
Perfect.
while
I'm
your
grateful for
pampered
having
asses
electricity.
have contempt for men.
I'm grateful for everybody that has put the
And you
effort to
don't-
give us electricity. Everybody, male, female. Because you're telling me not one female has not helped?
Of course.
Oh my
It's all
God.
just male,
Also,
male,
though,
male, male,
yeah.
male.
I mean, there's
Men
also,
are look here. Here's the point blank.
We need somebody
Men-
to sign the paychecks for sure.
Men are unilaterally responsible for every bit of comfort and security you are currently ungratefully enjoying. That's the difference. I acknowledge.
pay my taxes.
I don't have that kind of job, but I.
Touch My Blade donated $200. Internet is cool. Phones are fun. Any deep sea divers in the group? What is your favorite welder? You more a Mgtow gunner gal?
I mean, there was an era where electricity didn't exist and the human race did just fine. That doesn't mean it's not a great thing. But also, if we're going to talk about what roles
do you think
are
they were
more
doing
important than
before that,
another
though?
one, if we're going to talk women, if women are delegated to second class whatever roles,
That's
those
not-
are okay. Well, if
All
you
right,
think there are
what-
certain
go ahead.
positions meant for women, and then we,
I'm not even saying that. But go ahead. Go ahead.
so
go
you're
ahead.
saying nothing is then.
Just go ahead. Go ahead. Go
Okay.
ahead with your point.
If those are caregivers, nurturers, educators, are those not just as important as
Nope.
the physical aspects of this world?
Nope.
So if women are delegated to these roles, or if they're better at these roles, it's because they have specific traits that men don't, which is empathy, caring, love, whatever. And that's not to say men don't, but it's
Well,
less.
no, that
and so what
wouldn't
if it's
tell
just
that
the world
they-
of men who are in like the higher class levels? Then they was
No,
a world of
wait,
like sociopath.
higher class. Wait, what do you mean higher class levels?
I mean, sorry, like you said first class or first level, second
oh,
level.
you're going
whatever.
back to Andrew's argument.
Yeah, so when you're talking about traits, so I'd reject your first premise where you say women are doing these jobs because they have traits which acclimate them to the job. So I just kind of reject that and say, well, no, I think that they do those jobs because they don't have the traits to do the other ones.
That's what you're assuming.
So then
though.
men are doing the roles that they're doing because they have better traits.
Well, they
but
have the
women just don't have any
capacity.
traits
They
that
have the
apply in
capacity.
any position.
I'm
Okay, so
trying
then
to-
you're saying that
well,
women do the
Let me
nurturing.
answer the question. Hang on. Let me answer it. Okay. What I'm saying is that if you were to take away the idea that, it could be that women are only relegated to do these jobs because they have the best traits to do the jobs. I would just give the kind of counter response that no, they're relegated to do those jobs even though men can do those jobs because those are the jobs that women are capable of doing, even though men are equally as capable of doing them. And by the way, I will go ahead and give you the benefit of the doubt that I'm wrong. All you have to do is give me a single job that you think that men are not just as capable of women at doing, and I will do the same with men to you. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, parenting, mothering, nurturing, educating.
What parent? Wait,
Educating,
I'm sorry.
definitely educating.
Hang on, I just want to make sure.
Anything that has a
One at a time. So let's start with mothering, right? You would agree with me that women only do that job because they're the only ones who can be mothers, right?
Yeah.
Okay. But when you're talking about parenting, there's no way you're ever going to say that women are just better parents than men, or men can't do that job as well as women, right? You would say that?
I would say yes. More fathers are absent than mothers.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that the capability of men to do the job of parenting is not equal to that of women.
How?
Oh, then a woman
Because
can easily do electricity.
you're making this kind of great conflation that because they can't. I'm making the exact opposite argument.
So because women don't go for these jobs, they can't?
No. That's a different argument. So your argument was if they're relegated to those roles by men, then they're relegated to those roles because men think that they're valuable in those roles because they have the traits that acclimate them to those roles. I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying no, that men can easily do those jobs just as easily as they can do the jobs that they're in now, but the reverse is not true.
Okay.
So when you say parenting, I think that men are just as capable of parenting as women.
Okay, we can disagree.
You don't think they're just as capable?
So why is it that you
Wait,
think...
hang on. You don't think they're just as capable?
Well, I think just like you don't think women aren't as capable for certain positions, I think men aren't as capable for other positions that are equally as important that I just named.
What?
Educating, nurturing, parenting, literally any of these roles that you think are delegated.
You think why?
Well,
what?
then why do you think these other positions
I'll
that
tell
men
you.
have
I'll tell you.
Tell me.
I'll tell you. But let's start. We already went over soldiering, for instance, right? And no, women are not just capable of men at soldiering. No, they're not.
I didn't say they were.
Now, I'm saying that's my example then. Your example. I would like you to give me whatever your evidentiary is that men are not just as good at educators as women. Let's look at professorships. Let's look globally at professorships.
Well, then let's look at
scholars. Let's look at doctors. Let's look at lawyers.
That are women.
Well, wait. I'm not disputing that women can do those jobs. Never disputed it. I'm just telling you that men can do them equally as good. And so if that's the case, I'm giving you counterexamples where women can't do this job equally as good.
Like sanitation?
So I really don't understand the equation, right?
And also in terms of parenting, if you look at the stats of single mother households compared to single father households, the single mother households are much more likely to produce criminals, to produce people who are mentally ill, to produce people who live in poverty, feminists, male feminists, and the like.
Male feminists.
The father isn't present, and a baby needs both parents.
No, this is statistics.
Wait.
Yeah.
Hold on, Jake. Can you give your concrete?
That's a great
example?
feminist counter. Actually, the great feminist counter is that's because men aren't present. So all the data is coming from single mom households because there's so many of them to choose from. I agree with that. Actually, that's a great counterpoint.
Thank you.
The problem is that now we're able to. Now the court system has changed. Men are able to get custody of their children more. So now what we can do is we can look at the data of.
That's true. They struggle more in court.
Yep. So now we can look at the data of what happens when you grow up in a single father household versus single mother, and we can draw it 1-to-1. The outcomes are still better in a single father household than single mother.
That's a very.
I think that's very opinion.
Wait.
That's not opinion.
Jake, do you want to give your concrete example? Then I'm going to move it on to dating.
I was just going to say, do you guys like Barack Obama? Do you think he was a good president?
Yes.
By the way, you can also find that data that I just cited on the Substack of Rachel Wilson. She got all of it together so that you can see for yourself in single father versus single mother households how they fare differently.
Okay, I can look into
In our last video, a single mother threatens Brian with a lawsuit over her own actions. It's crazy how some people get angry and try to flip the script when it's time to take accountability. If you're still watching at this point, why not support the channel by hitting that like button and subscribing? All right, let's dive in.
Well, I mean, you were also threatening me with filing a lawsuit.
It wasn't a threat. It was a court-mediated process that I have to take.
No, you said you would go file a class action lawsuit against
Because
me.
I have to. If this wasn't going to be a
Why?
restitution show, because I'm now in a custody situation
What does
because
that-
of the last
I'm
show.
not a party to your
Yeah, but you said you got
custody
100% custody because of it.
Well, I had to take 100% custody because after that situation, my ex escalated in his...
Yeah, but didn't that work out well for you?
No, because... Do you want to understand the situation?
Intel
or do you
Wild
just wanna
donated
accuse me?
$100. Jesus, this chick is back crazy. Andrew, please call up the Santa Barbara PD and report the SA charge. Giant L to the University of Irvine.
Okay.
But I'm not going to do that if you apologize.
Apologize for what?
Battery.
I'm sorry
Sorry for what?
that I made you feel battered.
Oh, so, I mean, if that's the apology,
It's the same apology that you gave me.
but you said that was an unacceptable apology.
Well, you reap what you sow, so I'm not going to give you a more
Well, then
sincere
if we're
apology
doing
than
you reap
gave
as
me.
you sow, and you don't want me to move over to Christian ethics, where I usually don't do eye for an eye, and I'm usually a pretty forgiving person, just let things go, right?
I'm sorry that I put my beautiful ass in your lap.
Ugh.
I'm really sorry that made you uncomfortable.
Chris donated $100.
Nick, can you
Please
leave the
call
door open?
CPS and take her children away from her. They should play this entire podcast to the judge when deciding custody. I just left you a 1-star review on Amazon for her book. Everyone do it.
No, we're not gonna do shit like that. So the thing is, that's remarkably actually unhelpful in all ways. The thing is I would like to get into you in a social theory that I have, and I'd like to explain it to you and get your takes because you are the expert. Have you ever heard of what's called magic theory?
No.
Magic theory goes like this. This is considered a highly chauvinistic, I suppose, theory. I don't think it is. But essentially, if a woman cannot control you through sexuality, they move to manipulation. If they can't control you through manipulation, they move over to empathy. So these are mechanisms of control for...
That would be a mechanism of a sociopathic female, yes.
But haven't you demonstrated all of those traits today?
I would say I had to cycle through the toxic version of those things, and I arrived back on a genuine presentation of femininity.
But you started...
I have just been simply responding to your toxic masculinity that you've been putting on me. So I've been trauma responding with toxic femininity, yes. It's a protective measure.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
So then you were acting in a way which you consider to be sociopathic?
No, because I wasn't being manipulative with my emotions. But I will admit to intentional aggression against you, yes. But my crying and when you touched points of me that made me cry, I wasn't trying to invoke any sort of empathy in you, as clearly you don't have any, and you've stated that many times, and you don't care how I feel.
I never stated
so that
I
was
don't
not
have
for
empathy.
you. That was just me trying to literally, in real time, process my own trauma so I could move forward with the conversation.
Well, you can agree that, and I would agree with you too, that empathy is important. But you would have to agree with me that sometimes people will utilize empathy as a weapon
True.
in order to get you to respond a certain way through manipulation. True. So when you say, well, wait a second, Andrew, respond to me this way, right? And I'm going to present myself this way, which looks very manipulative, and then say, well, wait a second, you're not responding with empathy, so therefore you're a sociopath, something like this. Isn't that kind of textbook manipulation?
Andrew, it can be whatever you need me to say to move along with the conversation. I consent so we can move along.
Okay, so you're just going to admit then that you've been being extremely manipulative this entire time?
Well, that's what you want, correct?
Well, I mean, I want you to tell the truth. That's what I want.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
I don't agree with you.
Well, I mean, so you can read my mind? I really do. This would have been a really productive conversation. You should go back and look at all of the debates I've done on here, one-on-one. They've always been super respectful, and they've really gone places, which are good places to go. This one has just literally been a fucking...
Then why are
hasn't
you
gone
still
anywhere.
here? Why are you still here talking
Because
to me?
I still think perhaps I can get to some kind of worldview which we can discuss. I can still hope that, whether we will or not. But if you're just going to obstruct every time we get somewhere, which is productive because you might have to take responsibility, that's no good.
So I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't.
No, you're just damned if you don't. If you're damned if you refuse to engage, right?
Jorge donated $100. Let's be clear. She didn't win custody of her kids. She's holding them hostage from their dad.
Okay. Anyway. So yeah, that's I just, I want to get into the aspects because you're kind of a master, right? Doesn't it even stand to reason that if you're a master in psychology and you are an expert in psychology, that you would also be an expert in employing manipulation tactics and psychological tricks in order to get people to empathize with your position?
Yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, if that's true, there's no reason for me to assume that you haven't been doing that.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, I suppose also to Andrew's point, there's been multiple times throughout the conversation where we were talking about the white supremacy stuff, we were talking about your accusations of woman hating, and instead of engaging, you would just be like, nope, not talking about it, don't want to talk about it. So I think that's what he's talking about.
I'm trying to keep my nervous system regulated so I can keep having a conversation without crying.
Okay. All right. Well,
what is the? I know that you can't always explain this, but what is the motivation behind the crying? Is it because you feel bad?
It's because my heart feels broken in certain moments, and that's all I know how to move forward from that position, is to release it. If I try to hold on to it, it turns into something ugly. So crying is actually a protective measure to keep me from attacking you in a way that would be mean and malicious. I would rather just take in the pain, release it, and then see if I can regather myself to continue the conversation, or see if it's just done and I just need to leave.
Well, I think we can continue the conversation. Maybe we can get in a place where both of us have some common ground, right? I have kids, just like you do. With my kids...
Biological?
Yeah. Biological.
How old are they?
So the youngest is, well, I don't even want to get into their ages, and there's reasons why, but because I have people who are not good people who will weaponize.
So you know how it feels.
Do all sorts of, I've never weaponized your kids against you ever.
No, I'm saying though, but that is what happened because of the last show, and that's why I'm in a tough spot.
Yeah, I mean,
because
I can't.
Because my kids got weaponized because of the show.
But I can't, I'm not responsible for that.
I'm not saying that you are, but I am saying that the places that you're leading me are subjecting me and thus my mothering to
I'm not
things that are very traumatic for my children.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to do that. That wasn't the example.
And I see the allowance of comments coming in still about my children, about CPS, about about me being and I explicitly asked.
I get the same comments.
I understand that, but I am actually in a active case because of this exact
I've had
thing.
my house swatted 4 times.
Okay, I get it.
No, you don't get it. I've had my house swatted 4 times.
I've had my house swatted too.
Had the police called on me multiple times.
Same.
All for expressing an opinion just like you. We're in the same boat. If you're going to be a public figure, you're going to risk offense. And if you risk offense, sometimes crazy people are going to do bad things to you.
That's not my criticism. My criticism is that I did not know that that's what I was getting myself into when I came to the last show. I did not know that that's what I was getting myself into. I genuinely didn't. I was under the impression that I was coming to a dating podcast just to discuss amongst other people like what's going on in the dating world. That's literally all I thought.
Why would you assume that people would be less likely to have strong emotional opinions about dating than they do anything else?
I guess I was sheltered. I didn't.
Yeah, people have strong emotional opinions about everything from politics to dating to interpersonal relationships. They have strong opinions about circumcision. They have strong opinions about everything. And if you don't have right think, there's always going to be people who disagree with you and are going to try to do bad things.
I feel as if the explicit animosity towards me as a mother and my children was very extreme. But you're the ones that allow the comments or not.
They're third parties.
You remind people that there's certain trigger things and things that are so toxic you don't allow it. So therefore, I know you have a censoring process, yet you're still letting these comments come in
automatically.
So there's no censoring process?
So what happens is keywords, which would affect the algorithm, get censored. That's what he's talking about with toxic comments. So if so you notice how comments are coming through that have particular slurs which are quite vicious towards women. Those get filtered out. But saying generalized statements like, "Oh, I think this woman is a bad mother," you can't really do much about those. If you're going to put yourself on the internet at all and put yourself as a public figure, you are going to risk offending people, and they are going to sometimes you're going to have bad actors who will do horrible things. I tend to try my hardest to ignore that myself because I've had people do fucking horrible things to me. Horrible. And the thing is I don't hold even my haters, I don't even hold them responsible because most of my haters aren't so